the farm. It's been busy, and maybe Alf-Gøran, there haven't been so many things to talk about that we felt like waiting this few months was important. So now we have several things that are incredible advances from the farm.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a long autumn here after the summer, and so it's been a busy autumn. We have been producing salmon, of course, constant since the beginning, and it's been a good year of producing salmon. Temperatures have been perfect and stable and high, and still are high. We don't have any winter outside yet, so the temperature is staying relatively high for this period of the year still. Of course, the light have gone down, so we are experiencing less light, and that means that the fish will eat less and less going into the winter, of course. But yeah, it's been a busy autumn.
It has, and there've been several announcements, including we've become the first farm to be Best Aquaculture Practices certified.
Yeah, that's been a process too, and now we're working with the feed and the processors to get the more star certified and everything, and the certification team and the quality manager have done a very, very good job and bringing that in. Absolutely. So now we have that also we can hang on the wall and show that we're doing some things right, for sure.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit, because obviously there are different groups, NGOs and other groups that are involved in certification and recommendation schemes. And a lot of companies would say, we're good with ASC. They kind of pick and choose which ones. But to your point, we've invested in a team of people. We're keeping them exceedingly busy. What is the thought about, sort of hanging all of those different certifications and recommendations on the wall, so to speak? Do you find that the process is different, or is it looking at what the different market inputs are for each one? What is your thought around that philosophically about how these things, I think they're going to continue to come, different ones, and continuing to invest and engage in it, because it's not an inexpensive process, for each individual effort.
Absolutely not, and different markets have different amounts, and that gives you the different certifications. Some of them, of course, have similarities. There are boxes you can check with all of them that are relatively easy, and especially producing in Norway, we have some laws that takes care of a lot of those points and those checklists that we have. But there are extra costs and there are extra work into it, as you say. And I feel that it's most of them are customer driven, of course, and being able to be where we are and getting those certifications just keeps us on top of what's happening in the industry, what is the next step moving forward, what's important for these group of customers, what's important for these groups of certifications, and all those certifications gives us a confirmation that we're doing things right. And it also, having all of them, of course, is what you call it, a differentiator in approaching all the different retailers and all the different customers we have in the US and other parts of the world, of course.
And so what do you see is going to be important moving forward as we've engaged with those certification schemes, the NGOs? We know that, for example, there have been some shifts in the way in which, for example, Seafood Watch has done their work. What are you seeing moving forward that is emerging or that you think is going to be important in that space?
Yeah, no, I don't quite. It seems like that's the part of the certification. Some of them are stopping a little bit up. As you know, the ASC, there was a lot of the bigger companies that had a goal of being 100% certified, and they're not quite getting there. So the standards also haven't been raised. Other standards have been raised. So it's going to be following the right certification and following and helping and having input to those certification bodies and moving industry forward is going to be important. At the moment, ASC is a premium certification that gives you the Seafood Watch Yellow, of course. Those customers are still willing to pay a little bit more. You have the Global Gap that in the beginning customers were paying a little bit more. You have the BIP that customers will pay more if you have the 4-star. But all of those things changes unless the certification moves forward. And then, as you said, there will be new ones coming in and changing the whole way we think. So I'm not sure if that was a good answer to your question, but it's
very actually, because sustainability is something that we know is a moving target. That's the whole point, is to be able to keep moving these things forward. And I think that's been one of the most important things, for example, on the feed models, continuing to work on moving the feed model forward, or the equipment or the technology.
Yeah, they have. That's the thing with the certifications. They have different focuses. At the moment, there is a lot of focus on environmental footprints, farms and around the farm. There's not a lot of focus on the feed. The whole food standards, of course, have a lot of focus on the feed, but the other ones, there's not a lot of focus. There's focus on copper treatment on net and not using that. There's focus on having good results on your genetic tests. Focus on having following work-related laws and keeping payments for the workers where they should be. Seems like there's a shift in focus between the ones and being sustainable and moving forward is being certified with all of these gives you a little bit of input on where to move next. And that's important,
Very, and being in the room in those conversations so that we're actually testing and working on those maybe those innovations that are going to make a little bit harder standard. Though one of the things that I think is significantly important that we've had tremendous advancements on the farm is technology, and how technology now is really impacting things like data collection and sea lice management. And let's talk a little bit about that. We came out right out of the gate with IBM Food Trust Blockchain. Where are we going with that as we look into 2021?
Yeah, it's been a longer process than we were hoping for. Of course, it's been getting all of those. We got the data and everything up and going, getting that to be automatic and not needed to be punched in has been a long process because of the COVID-19 situation, and especially getting customers on board has been difficult. We had a lot of plans for restaurants and those to bring it on, making it easier to communicate with customers. But it's moving on, and it's giving us, as you say, it's giving us data, at least on a production level, that is really impressing and gives us a lot of knowledge on how to improve what we're doing all the time. So the blockchain, I wish it was moving a little bit faster, but still, things like these and things like new technology like that takes time, and we will be 100% automatic on it. It's a small adjustment when it comes to sensor data and just connecting the different blocks of information all the way. That's where we are with that, and also finding out what kind of information do the customer want to have, because we can share everything. We can share everything we have, but is that important for the customer? Will they read all of it? Is it necessary? What do they want? How do they want it relayed? And all of those things are things we're constantly working on adapting to the market. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
absolutely, and how the retailers will engage as well, because there has been some pushback on that from the distribution perspective and the retailer. Now, that's ongoing, and we know that really being able to do that so that we can take our fish, obviously, from egg all the way to, let's say, the hot dog, and having something that the customer can engage in. So that's ongoing. And one of the other things with COVID that's been difficult, but now is getting to the point of being over the finish line. Let's talk about the packaging as well, because packaging has been the slowdown, the issues around shipments. There's been a lot of things that with COVID have been more difficult to get over the finish line as well.
Yeah, with new packing and new ways of doing things, you need, of course, new suppliers, and moving things around in the world has not been an easy thing to do the last 6 months. So every time we change something and we need new packing, for example, with the box that we're testing and trying to implement, it's taking too many weeks between every change and getting new ones and getting new better improvements done. When it comes to boxes, when it comes to vacuum sealed bags, 10K OTR bags, all of those things, because you have to move them between big distances, like the 10K OTR bags are produced in the US, the boxes are produced in Norway, but the south of Norway, so everything is a little bit frustrating because it takes a little bit more time in the situation we are in now. But for us, it looks like still there is, the packing and everything will be working and will be sent out. But we're making extra, sure that things will work and that we don't want to have any problems with them or anything. So we are a little bit behind where I wanted to be, but that's always the situation when you're doing some new things. You always want it to happen now and not in 2 weeks. But it's never fast enough. It's an ongoing, interesting project, and when you start on that, you attract attention and you get new things and new ideas during it, and you need to constantly adapt and find new ways of doing things. So it's just it's improving. That's the most important part of it. Yeah.
Even during this, I always say, yes, this is happening, but it's really about how we've reacted and met the market where it is. Now, there was an interesting announcement last week about becoming one of 2 farms to use the AquaBite technology. Can you talk about that and why that was important? Because I don't think that a lot of those that follow aquaculture understand almost in essence how far behind the kind of technology was in terms of counting sea lice on the farm.
Yeah, it's counting sea lice on the farm has been, as you know, the sea lice have been a bigger and bigger problem for the farming industry in Norway because of the effects the sea lice have on the wild population of salmon and trout in Norway. We have been under a more and stricter regime when it comes to how much lice we can have in the farm at any given time. So every week we have to take out fish from every pen, seduce them, count the lice on a minimum amount of 10 fish from every pen. Normally you count even more. So yeah, trying to calculate that, you move a lot of fish and you handle a lot of fish during a year manually with your hands. Not only is it a lot of work, but it's a lot of fish welfare issues around handling a fish like that on land and taking it up, seducing it, putting it out again. There's not a lot of mortality around it, but there is always that risk when you're doing handling of fish. So we've been running pilots with several different technology suppliers like Aquabite and watching how the technology have slowly moved towards where we are today. And where we are today is just amazing. The camera systems and the cameras and the machine learning have come to a point where you can actually you can count every lice on a fish just by the fish swimming by. The camera system or the machine learning has learned how to see the difference between a sea lice and something else on the fish. It has a formula on how to count the lice and divide it into how many fish you have and how many fish they have counted, and the results are astonishingly close to what we are doing manually. So at one point we knew we were coming to be at the point where we were able to do it without taking the fish out of the sea, without handling the fish. And that's where we are now. And it's been a long way, but it shows that it's possible, and that will be a revolution for the industry. But someone also had to be the first one to do that, because now we have put our faith in the machine that the results it gives us is correct. We will of course be double checking just to be sure, and just so we can help the development of the camera system with Aquabite. But I believe they have found the solution. But there are several other coming after. So at the moment it's a very expensive system. But if you try to calculate the cost of work and handling fish and all of that, and the risk, not the least, then this is part of the future. And it gives you, not only it gives you the lice on each fish, it can also tell you if the fish has a wound. It can even come to a point, and we are very close to recognizing every fish. At the moment they can see, because every fish has a footprint. The head of the fish and the pattern it has in the head follows the fish from when it's a baby fish until it's harvest ready. So you can put not a name but a number on each fish, and each time it swims by, the data gathered can tell you a little bit on how the fish is health-wise, how many lice, how much it grows week by week, month by month. So you will get even more data doing or using this system. We did also, with that, we did a size or weight counting on it, and it has been, at the same time as it counts lice, it has been estimating the weight, and the weight is I'm not going to say 100% correct, but not far from 100% correct also. So that's very interesting, because that has been a big thing that a lot of the systems have tried to solve. But I believe Aquabite is very close, or even have managed to do that. So that's and the possibilities are, of course, many when you come to that stage of gathering data with each fish. It's I don't even want to think about. Yeah.
Well, it's so significantly important when we think about the blockchain, right? Because if we can truly, truly trace that animal from egg all the way to harvest, its well-being, what particular fish need. I don't know. I'm sure for those that are listening, you know, all pens are kind of on a bell curve. You get some that are growing faster or slower than others. And so truly, truly knowing what that is to be able to manage densities. There are just so many things that that really can't be done just sort of by surveying out the land by the eyes, by the, you know, by the human eyes and saying, well, this is sort of how we think it is, but to actually have access to this technology. And then behind you, I want to talk about this as well, because this is something new that we've, not new in terms of technology, but new for us. As most of you know, we've talked a lot about the mighty lump sucker fish and making sure that we're rearing that lump sucker and putting it into this system, having it be well cared for as it helps us manage that sea lice, continuing to be chemical free and antibiotic free. And now we're helping that lump sucker out a little bit, and we see something flashing in the background. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, this is the next level. It's a technology that's been around. Stingray, a company, started developing a laser that is shooting the lice, actually, off the fish. And I remember when they came out and said that this was possible, laughing a little bit and thinking, yeah, right, that's going to happen. But when you have that camera technology that you have today, with those pictures you can get from the camera system, you're actually able to shoot the lice. And that's what Stingray have done with this laser you can see flashing in the background. They have managed to, by machine learning over many years, they have been able to pinpoint the laser technology with the fish and the lice, and are able to, not only does this one count lice, it tells you exactly how many lice it has shot and killed, and it gives you every day how many fish has passed by the laser, how many fish have been registered by the camera system. Every day you get a report saying how many lice you have been able to kill. So the lump sucker will still be important, but this is without a doubt a great help for the salmon. And as you can see, the technology and the laser are so advanced that it shoots the lice and only the lice. The fish doesn't even react to the laser shots, and it's not even hurt. And that's because they have been perfecting it for a very long time. And there are actual people sitting in, not in Kvaroy at the moment, where we're educating our feed guys to be laser pilots eventually. But at the moment, it's controlled in Oslo by Stingray. And they have people that are lowering it and raising it and moving it independent to where the fish is at any given time. As you know, the fish, when it eats, it goes high and it takes the feed, and when it gets dark, it goes lower to digest the feed. And so these lasers follow the fish wherever it goes and make sure that they register and give us as much data as possible. And we have two lasers in every pen, and those two lasers in a pen with 60,000 fish, almost I think around 40,000 fish gets registered every day by the lasers, and it shoots. I think the first week we had around 250,000 shots of lice. Gives you a picture of, even though we don't have a lot of lice, but it gives you a picture of the situation and the lice and the pressure they're under. But it's keeping the lice level at, I think it's around now in our pens, it's around 0.1. So every 10 fish has a lice on it. So that's not a lot, but still, when you have 100,000 fish, there are some lice to shoot, of course. So it's this is we installed this. Is it 2-3 weeks ago now? And I was a little bit skeptic before, but now I'm sold. It's the technology is just amazing. Yeah.
I mean, we've seen the impact of technology in farming, on land, on water, creating efficiencies so that really, truly, it's making a better environment. It's creating better impact. We're better stewards of good animal husbandry as the result. And, laser has been used, whether it's in medical practices for humans or for healing for animals. So it's just incredible to see it also creating a good effect on the well-being, the health and welfare of the fish. And what everybody can understand is that then ultimately a fish that, yes, is better for you because you can farm antibiotic and chemical free. And of course, that creates a better and more holistic environment all around. So these are just a handful of the things that we're working on. We only have a couple more minutes left. It's hard to review this year as you've come into market in the US and told the story and been able to get all of these inputs out and get the feedback from, not just the industry, but also from influencers and writers, kind of in 60 seconds, reflect on that. Was it what you hoped it would be, even in spite of the pandemic and some of the hurdles?
60 seconds, that's not fair. No, it's I had very little how to say it, I had very little expectations before we started. I of course wanted to believe that we were able to do something. We were able to stick our head out there and for people to see us during or this year. We are at the point and reaching end of 2021 where I even couldn't dream of being. We have been recognized for what we have done. The story of our farm and what we're doing has been received by customers and influencers, like you said, in a way that I even couldn't even dream about. And it finally gives us the recognition that we have, what we have done so far is we're not off track. We are on track, and it gives me extremely motivation for working harder and doing better going forward when it's possible to do what we have done so far this year. And the team and everyone we have been working with, and just have to say a big thank you, because it's been an unbelievable year. That's
it really has.
sure. Yeah.
And watch for 2021, because we have some incredible things coming up. I think we want to first we want to say thank you. We are so incredibly grateful to all of you that are tuning in, that have helped us. None of this happens alone. And so we feel really grateful that we've been able to make this journey. And now to be able to say thank you and really watch us soar, because this is something that we're all doing together as we bring sustainable, ethical aquaculture, as we have our small part in what will determine, I think, what the future will be. So thank you for this update. Thank you for all that you do.
You.
I know we'll be talking, but for those of you that won't see us, happy holidays, happy New Year, stay safe, take care of yourselves and those around you, and keep tuning in. We've got great stuff going on as we move forward.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.